The roll call, it appears. It looks like we are missing two individuals. Is that correct? Travis?
Yes, that's correct.
And,
Actually, three, sorry. Ilya, Rod, and Don.
okay, so will you report then the ones that are present? Thank you. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the July 22nd meeting?
Kelly.
Kelly, moved by Kelly Walker, second.
I'll second Beverly.
Thank you, Bev. All in favor? Unanimous? Aye. Any declaration of pecuniary interests or conflicts of interest to be made before we commence the meeting? Nick, there's one item that's on the agenda that I bring to your attention, and when that matter arises, you may want to absent yourself from the meeting just during that one item.
I think Nick may be frozen. Nick, can you hear us? It's giving us a very intense stare. So.
I'm not getting him at all. I just.
Yeah.
I'll shoot him a quick text here.
Hello, Travis.
Hi, Nick.
You guys are, I'm frozen, but you can hear me.
Yes, we hear your audio. We're at the point in the agenda where we have people declare a pecuniary or conflict of interest.
Okay.
And I don't know if you heard that, Nick.
No, I didn't. Sorry, I was on the phone too for 1 second.
So I just subsequently to calling on that matter, pointed out that there is a matter on the agenda later on that involves you.
Yes.
And when we come to that item, you have to declare a conflict, I believe.
Yeah.
And just for that one matter, and refrain from participation in the meeting until that matter is disposed of.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. Any concerns or conflicts of interest or pecuniary interest? Okay. First matter on the agenda then, under new business, staff updates, Travis.
Okay, we have a fairly packed meeting, so I'm going to be really brief with my update. So everybody's got the report, so feel free to go through it. And if you have any questions, you can reach out directly to myself. The first item, we did receive written confirmation from CN that they will be operating this year. What they're indicating now is that the operations will start in September. They've indicated on their website that they will start September, or they're currently selling tickets from September 18th through October 12th. They have confirmed that September 18th may or may not be the actual start date, and we're waiting on additional details from CN. But at this point, they're saying that they will be operating in September. Through conversations with the group tour operators, we currently have approximately 12 to 14 buses that are committed to the tour train. There's one bus that's booking roughly 32 passengers, and the remainder are booking about 50 passengers. So they're looking at full capacity for those passengers. So as soon as we get additional information, they had promised to provide us with a formal response and what I believe will be the basis for their press release. As soon as we get a copy of that, we'll be able to provide further information to the board and the local hoteliers. With respect to the Sault Superior venture that concluded this past Sunday, we're expecting a final report from Sault Superior. I spoke with the owner today. He's currently driving the boat back from the Sioux to Thunder Bay. They're demonstrating potential 5-day tour for next year. So he indicated that he won't have the exact numbers till early September. So we'll be reporting on that during our September meeting. Our understanding through conversations with him and the captain that was here is they were very pleased with the turnout and ticket sales, but we'll wait for the final numbers and go from there. The last item I'm going to provide an update on is last meeting, we were given authorization by the board to proceed with an application for the Canada Community Revitalization Fund. And that was for continuation of the multi-use path between the Hub Trail third line all the way up to Kinsman Park and beyond, as well as the bridge over the Root River. That was submitted on July 23rd, and we've already received confirmation that we've been accepted to phase 2 of the FedNor process. So we're currently working in terms of putting together that application, and it'll be submitted as soon as possible. We're anticipating delays in the review of that application of the election process, but once we have additional information, we'll provide that. Lastly, as of May, in terms of MAC collections, we were down about 70,000 from last year. We are now, as of the end of June, only down 51,000. So we're seeing some substantial growth month over month now. Q1 profits were about 150,000 below what we collected in 2020, bearing in mind that January and February and part of March were a typical year pre-COVID. And Q2, we're currently 89,000, almost 90,000 above the 2020 collections over this period. So we're starting to trend better than 2020. We're hopeful that that will continue. So with that, I'll conclude my staff update and pass it over to Richard for an update on the financial matters.
Okay, Richard Jones, let's have it. I think Travis passed out a balance sheet and an income statement for January to June 21. If you look on the balance sheet, we've got $605,485 in there. The accounts receivable relates to our claim forms for HST rebate. So when that comes in, we'd end up with $622,000 in our bank. So if you look on the income statement, in the income statement, you have to understand I'll call it a proper income statement. And the MAT transfer that's shown on there for 578 includes $380,047 from the remainder of the funds from 2020. So the first $760,000 rough dollars that get collected for MAT comes to Tourism Sault Ste. Marie, and then the remainder is split between those two funds. So we ended up with 380 that did not go to EDC. And then there's another further payment that we received in the first quarter for $198,138. So that produced that MAT number for 578. That sundry revenue is a payment that came across from EDC. EDC received the first part of funding from the MAT funds of $380,047. They spent a bunch of money, and there was $167,000 some odd dollars that were left. They advanced that $50,300 to us. And then that grant revenue is the FedNor funds. The balance of the FedNor funds that were received, if you remember correctly, we're supposed to receive potentially $250. We actually received $230 because they didn't pay, or some of our expenses didn't totally qualify. So that's the revenue that's showing on that income statement. The expenses, the 2926 is our insurance. We paid, if you remember correctly, at the beginning of the year, we paid a whole bunch of marketing expenses, and the balance of the web design and Duggan Partners. So that makes up the 149,000. So currently at the end of June, we actually have a surplus of 622. What I did, and which I haven't shared because what I found is we've got a balance. So EDC owed or had unspent balance of 167,000, which I talked about. They gave us 50,000 in 1st of August. They wrote us a check for the balance. So we've received, after June, we've received $117,510 more. So we would add that to our bank balance. We did sign a whole bunch of checks, check run of about $33,000. That was all those expenditures that we passed, I'm going to say, in our June meeting. So, so we've had that. And then I've tried to identify what are our commitments, what we've agreed for commitments that are unspent. So I think we've got not quite 10,000 because I think we spent $300 of it. We agreed to have a commitment for photo expenses of 10,000. I think we spent 300, so there's $9,700 still to go. There's the Stokely Creek of about 9. We've agreed to on the Trail Connect for 40,000. I put in for Superior of about 7. And then we've agreed that we're going to pay $20,000 for curling. Well, those are the only commitments that coming out of our general, what I'm going to call coming out of our general fund. Then on top of that, in our budget that we approved back in January or last December, we had $70,000 for the winter campaign. So that is still out there to be spent. And I'm estimating that we've got, you know, another $10,000 between supplies and group tours, and there may be a few other items. So putting that all together, and if we collect, in my projection, and I guess Travis and I don't quite, we're not quite on the same close, but we're all very close. I'm thinking we're going to collect over $800,000 this year in mat tax, assuming that we get occupancy levels of 70% through July, August, and September. We'll come close to 80,000 or 800,000. So with that, we're going to end up with another 760,000 minus what's been advanced to the 198. So that's going to give us another 561,000. So based on all of that, and assuming that we don't commit anything further, we're going to have over $1 million in surplus by the end of December. That's just my numbers. So, and that hasn't been put in front of you. So at some point in time, I guess we'll have to think about that. So I just throw that out there, and I would take any questions as we go forward.
Thank you very much, Richard, for the work on this matter. I know that it's been a struggle for Travis to get some numbers to us from the city itself. Appreciate your work in that respect. Any questions? Any questions of Richard, please? Travis, just along these lines, and Richard, what can we expect potentially would be the development fund based upon what's there now and what may be added in 2021, 22, approximately?
As of right now, I mean, as of the funds that were allocated in 2020, we have 459,000. I believe the collections from last year, there was, I think, $7,000 above and beyond the 760. So there should be another $3,500 there. And then it really depends on the where we come in this year. So, you know, if we're right around 800,000, then that would be 40,000 split between the city share and the Tourism Development Fund. So an additional 20,000. And
And just for clarity is if we have a year like, which we're not going to have this year, but if we use 2019 as a base year, that produced, I think, 270,000 into our funds. So, you know, if we're looking forward, and nothing's guaranteed, if we're looking forward, obviously, to 2022, perhaps that's what we might see, or something, hopefully something of that magnitude, especially for all you hotelers out there.
Anything else with respect to the financial statement or questions arising from what has been discussed? Thank you. Now, Travis, did you want to deal with staff updates?
Joe, I think I covered that before Richard spoke.
Thank you. The next item is the board election, and I'd like to put that to the end of the meeting, if I may, only because we had an executive meeting before this meeting, and we can run through the other items fairly quickly, I think. Next item is the visitor's guide.
Okay, I can speak to that. So we'd like to move forward for 2022 with the new visitor guide. We did not produce the one this year because we were concerned about what was going to occur with additional lockdowns. Plus, you know, a good portion of the visitor guide was events, which were unknown for this year. But essentially, we historically have produced 45,000 copies of the visitor guide. They'll be distributed throughout Ontario and certain distribution centers in Michigan, as well as we provide them for train passengers. So it will detail the attractions in the city, events, special events, and there's also the opportunity for hotels and other businesses to purchase ads in the publication. So right now, we're hoping the board would approve us for a $55,000 upset limit for the advancement of this visitor guide. We're hoping to be below that budget, but we thought we'd add a contingency to what we're aiming for. And historically, what we've been able to do is generate funds from the ad sale. And right now, we're predicting to hopefully bring in about $20,000 in terms of ad sales, which will offset the cost of the publication for 2022.
Travis, just for some of us who may not be fully aware of the process here, is there only one company that puts that together, or is that a matter that you put out to tender? We
would be under city procurement, you know, for the printing and some of the graphic designs. We could go out for a request for quotes rather than an RFP, but there should be a number of parties that could bid on this. So just so that I'm clear, we approve the budget, matter goes out for bids or proposals, and then the decision is made? That would be correct. Thank you. I have before me a draft resolution, and I'm looking for a mover and a seconder. Be it resolved that Tourism Sault Ste. Marie approve expenditures for the 2022 Visitors Guide in the amount of $55,000, bracket upset limit, close bracket, for printing, layout, and freight costs exclusive of HST. May I have a mover in that respect?
I'll move, Lawrence.
Lawrence, thank you. A seconder?
Kelly.
Bev? All in favor? Approved. Next item on the agenda is Tourism Development Fund applications. What do you have to say about that, Travis?
We were going to walk through the Tourism Development Fund applications in closed. There are items from some of the applications that are confidential financial information that could impact some of the events.
Thank you. May I have a motion then to, let's go down to items, the other resolutions on item 5. There's a motion before us for a mover and a seconder. Be it resolved that Tourism Sault Ste. Marie recommend a contribution through the Tourism Development Fund, conferences and special events stream in the amount of $7,500 to support NerdCon 2021, October 2nd to the 3rd, 2021, and that a report be submitted to City Council for consideration and approval. You want to address that, Travis, please?
Yes, Joe, those were some of the items that I was going to talk further in the closed section about those applications.
Yeah, so let's go to closed and discuss them, and then we can come back into open and then do those resolutions. I think that's the proper way to do it.
May I have a motion then to go to closed session? Beverly? Seconder? I can't
Kelly.
see any.
Kelly,
Thank you. All in favor to go into closed session? All approved. We're now in closed session and we're still recording. The first matter then in open session, do we have to ask for a declaration of conflicts again? Okay. The first matter in the open session then is the motion, or resolution rather, resolved that Tourism Sault Ste. Marie recommend a contribution through the Tourism Development Fund, conferences and special events stream in the amount of $7,500 to support NerdCon 2021, October 2nd to 3rd, 2021, and that a report be submitted to City Council for consideration and approval. May I have a mover and a seconder with respect to that matter?
I move this, Joe. It's Kelly.
Kelly, thank you.
I second it,
second.
Joe.
Nick, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. I have before me a resolution, and I'm seeking a mover and a seconder. Be it resolved that Tourism Sault Ste. Marie recommend a contribution through the Tourism Development Fund, conferences and special events stream in the amount of $5,000 to support the Airport Management Council of Ontario Convention, October 3rd to the 6th, 2021, and that a report be submitted to City Council for consideration and approval. I have a mover or a seconder.
I move it, Joe. It's Kelly.
Thank you. Kelly? Seconder?
I'll second.
Beverly? All in favor?
can I ask a question beforehand? What's the score, Travis?
Just bear with me here. I don't remember it exactly offhand. You scroll right down. Yeah, we had a score of 50, so that aligns with 40 to 59 was in the $5,000 range.
Okay.
It's going to be the new hashtag for our group here. What's the score?
Next matter, Nick, involves your matter. you want to withdraw or not participate?
Yeah, I can drop out.
Well, that's fine. I'm looking for a mover and a seconder. Be it resolved that Tourism Sault Ste. Marie will provide financial support to the full amount approved in the 2021 budget in the amount of $15,000 for the Ultra Trail Stokely Creek Trail running race in September 2021 for the purposes of marketing, venue rental, and race course preparation and land access fees. I have a mover and a seconder.
I move it, Joe. It's Kelly.
Kelly, seconded by
Lawrence.
Richard. Any questions or discussion before I call a vote to this? All in favor? Carried. Nick, you can come back now. Oh, I guess he's gone.
Travis, you want to send him a?
Yeah, I'll send him a text. Give him another minute here, and if I don't hear back on his text, I'll give him a call. Do you want to put it on mute? He'll be joining in just a moment here.
Is there any other matter that we should discuss before we call the meeting to an end?
Joe,
We covered off the agenda?
we have to deal with the matter of the appointment of the chair.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Thanks.
Before we do that, is Travis, I know you talked about having a session or a part of one of our meetings talking about what projects we want to see coming forward for the remainder of the year, or probably more effective in 2022. Do you want to just briefly talk about that for a second and get an idea as to when we might want to do that?
Yes, thanks, Richard. So staff are currently working on the 2022 budget. And for those of you not familiar with the process, so the board will have to endorse Tourism Sault Ste. Marie's budget, after which we need to bring it to City Council, which will happen, I believe, in November. So as we were working through this budget, we had a significant amount of money set aside for general development, which is, was product development, could be contributions to the train, what have you. I thought it would be wise, rather than have staff guess at what may or may not be appealing to the board, was to have a brainstorming session regarding potential projects, and then have the board come forward with those recommendations, and we can include them in the budget. So Richard, we could deal with that. We've got two opportunities. We could certainly deal with it in September or October, and I'll leave that at your discretion. Staff has a preliminary list of projects. We can certainly share that with the board in advance, and then just open it up to further dialogue.
Any suggestion by board members whether they'd like to get together in October or September on that matter? How about near the end of September, first week of October, Travis?
Okay. And So in that case, we would convene a special meeting for that, which I think is appropriate because it's tough to fit all this in. I think the original intent was to have 1 hour meetings, and they're all trending closer to 2 hours. So
Is it
Yeah, I
possible
think-
we
I
could
think-
do it a little, oh, sorry. Can we
Go ahead,
do
I'm
it
sorry.
maybe right after that Thanksgiving, just with, everything that we're hopefully coming into the last week in September and some events there, the early part of October?
that works from staff's perspective.
I don't hear any objection to that time frame.
Okay, we will send out a placeholder for that session as well as a placeholder for the next board meeting, which will be September 16th.
Let's deal with the most important reason why we had this meeting, and that's to find a replacement for the current chair. And I understand that there has been some interest on the part of persons. And before we deal with that, is there anyone else who wants to be nominated for consideration? Okay, I call nominations to a close. So give me the person who's going to sit in this seat. Welcome.
The individual that put her name forward is Beverly Barber. And Joe, I don't know if the board needs to vote on that, or if we just welcome Beverly as the new chair.
Well, I don't think we need to vote, but in case someone should challenge the appointment or the position, I think we should vote. I would move that Beverly Barber be appointed chair of Tourism Sault Ste. Marie. And I'd like to have a seconder in that respect.
I can do it.
Richard,
Richard?
and can we have a vote? And make it unanimous?
Mhm.
Do I
Thank you.
abstain?
You could vote for yourself.
I can, okay.
There's no conflict in that.
Okay,
Welcome aboard, and I think we all appreciate you coming forward and making yourself available to be chair. I know that you know the hospitality industry and the business well in this community. And good luck to you. Have lots of patience. And you have to once in a while blow up, but do it private at home. When you find out things are happening that you may not agree with. And I think you'll do a great job.
Hey,
Thank
Joe,
you very
she's
much.
got, Joe, she's got to have patience if she's dealing with JJ, so that would be a
Well, we
challenge.
still
I'm not,
recording
I'm not going there. You're going to have to wear a shield every time you show up for work after one of these meetings is what was decided. But Jim's heart is in the right place all the time, whether you agree with him or not.
absolutely.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
And you can tell him,
I think we've got a great board here, so I'm confident that we'll continue to move forward in the direction that Joe's already gotten us started on here.
thank you.
Before we leave this, Travis, is that resolution, if for Beverly, we probably will need that as a separate resolution to bring forward to the bank. If you remember, Joe, is we had to have some separate resolution to show that
Yes.
the board appointed us. So yeah. So,
Yes. Yeah. I think the banking document says the chair and the treasurer are authorized.
yes.
So I wonder if the resolution should say that, no, I think it would be very clear that Beverly is now the chair, and that's the end of the story.
Right.
And then Beverly, you have to go in and sign the bank card. So they have a specimen of your signature. May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? A
I'll
mover?
move.
Well, you should be chair now, since you are the chair. You should be
No,
calling on that.
I don't take over until the next 2 meetings, no, right?
Okay. Beverly moves. Is there a seconder?
I second, it's Kelly.
Kelly? Thank you. All in favor? Thank you. Oh, thank
Have a
you.
good day, everyone. Congrats again, Bev.
Thanks, guys. Have a great
care.
day.
Take care.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Congratulations, Beverly. Thanks, everybody. Have a good day.